1, 2, 3, clap.
Seriously?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, do it again.
1, 2, 3, clap. Perfect.
I beat the beat.
I know.
Ahead of the beat. That's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it is good. Thank you so much for being just available to do this.
Yep.
It means so much to me. Okay, so I always start off the podcast. Wait, really quick. Are the mics good? No?
You need to speak
Closer? Okay.
Am I good?
You're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for telling me.
And I put Freddie's bark collar on, so hopefully he won't bark.
It's okay if he does. I feel like it just
Little-
makes it
add a
more
little-
real.
It does. You're
Yeah.
right. That's
Add
like,
some spice to it.
I feel like the kids coming in, anybody, I feel people want that.
yeah,
They want genuine right now, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
that's kind of true.
I feel like people are tired, especially with AI coming and all that. They're saying like stories like this, like sitting down and having conversations like this are going to be more important than ever because
I
in
would
the
hope
next-
so.
yeah, they think like in the next
We'll see.
3 to 5 years, all influencers or whatnot will be AI.
You're kidding.
No,
That's weird.
terrifying.
It is.
I know it's kind of one of the pushes for why I was like, I really want to do this because I want to give our kids something to look at, like and to aspire to. And I feel like there's so many conversations that aren't good for the kids. And I feel like this is going to be a great one.
Yeah.
Okay. I always start off the podcast by introducing the guests.
Okay.
And all right. So today I'm beyond excited, truly honored to welcome 2 of the most remarkable people I know, not just in golf, but in life. 2 people I deeply admire, whose character, faith, and heart inspire everyone around them, Tom and Melissa Lehman. Tom's career is extraordinary. British Open champion, former world #1, Ryder Cup captain, and over 400 PGA Tour starts, 5 PGA Tour wins, 13 Champions Tour victories, and the only player to ever win Player of the Year, and all 3 PGA Tour levels. But what really sets him apart isn't just the trophies, it's his humility, perseverance, and the integrity he brings to everything he does. And standing right beside every great man is always an incredible woman. And Melissa Lehman, she is not just incredible, she's extraordinary and so beautiful. Nearly 38 years of marriage, 4 amazing children, 2 grandbabies, 1 on the way,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and a life built on love, faith, and steadfast support. Together, they face lots of highs and lows with grace, compassion, and purpose. It's my absolute joy to welcome my friends, who I consider my family, Tom and Melissa Lehman. Hi, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for having
Yeah.
us.
Thank you for
Thanks.
having us.
Welcome to
Super.
the podcast, guys. All right. Well, I wanted to start off with just some icebreakers. Okay. Who do you think's more competitive between you 2?
I think it depends on what we're doing.
Well,
Melissa,
if you want,
He is.
will you pull yours closer?
For sure, Tom's more
No, no.
competitive.
And then will you make sure you're speaking into your
Oh, yeah.
yeah, if you want to, if you add being a better sport into it, then it's for sure it's Melissa.
Yeah.
She's
That's true.
competitive and
I
a
agree.
better sport. I'm competitive and I'm a really sore loser.
That's
So,
fun.
Yep.
It is.
I know something about you that most people don't know is that you're an awesome athlete and you love pickleball and
Yes.
you're really good at it.
Yeah.
What are you
I
ranked?
try. I'm not ranked yet. I've never
That's
done
not
that.
true. You're the number 2 player in the Indian Ocean swing. Okay.
I'm ranked number 2
In the Indian Ocean.
in the Indian Ocean.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
It's self-proclaimed.
Yeah.
He's ranked number 1.
Yeah.
Pickleball doesn't exist in the Southern Hemisphere.
Oh, wait, that's so
That-
funny.
So
Maybe it does
we're
now,
the only
but
2
it didn't.
players.
It didn't.
So
We
you-
didn't have to say that. We could have just left it
I
at
know.
that.
I
can't
think
lie.
everybody would
Yeah.
have been like, wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know,
Melissa-
Erin, you did.
I know. I really believed it. I was like, wow, that's because it's everywhere now.
Yeah.
And you hear about all these physical therapists now, like just booming with their jobs
Yep.
because of pickleball.
Yep.
But we love pickleball. We love playing. Landon especially hates it, but the rest of us love playing. But Landon's like, I hate it. It's just because he's competitive. Same.
Yeah.
So,
I'm not good.
Mhm.
what's something about Tom that people would never guess? A hidden talent, quirk, or something he does around the house to make you laugh?
Well, people may or may not guess this, but he is a good poet.
Oh, yeah.
Remember when you used
Yeah.
to write me poetry?
Yeah, I do. Yes, I do.
Super helpful around the house and has become more of a handyman
Yeah.
than he used to, right?
hmm
When we first got married, you didn't really enjoy chores, and now
And never, yes, you're
that
right.
was not your forte.
That
and
wasn't
now
my
find it?
wasn't my jam for certain.
Yeah. Yep.
So
That's really fun. Okay, if I gave you a round of golf with anyone in history, it could be a golf or celebrity, anybody, who would you put as your foursome?
Yeah, I've been asked this question by a lot of people, and my answer seems to change like the wind because
Okay.
it's depending on my mood.
Yeah.
But I guess John Wooden has always been the one that would be in the group for sure. The old basketball coach.
Why is that?
Oh, just because of what a great man he was. Just such a good, kind, faithful Christian man who was also super competitive. Right after him would be probably Byron Nelson for the same exact reasons, a wonderful, wonderful, amazing, gifted, confident, humble Christian man, and then one of the best golfers of all time. And probably if you couldn't put Jesus in that category, which I'm not going to, um, he would be number one actually, but probably somebody like General Patton,
Hmm.
who was, just maybe in some ways the opposite of
Mhm.
all the other guys, but still had a Christian faith, but an absolute, take no prisoners kind of general.
Wow, that's really cool. I wouldn't have guessed that. You would have said that. So that's really fun. Okay, Melissa, who's your favorite band or artist?
Well, it's hard to say, but currently we have a puppy named Freddie Mercury.
Oh.
He's somebody I've always, if I could meet somebody, celebrity, it would be him, Freddie Mercury, band and artist. But Elton John,
Mhm.
I'm a classic rock person. Sadly, I don't know why I don't love country music at all, and I'm not the hugest fan of Christian music except
Yeah.
for Keith Green.
Oh,
That's a good
yeah.
one.
That kind of begins and ends with him, with
That's
Christian
so
music for me.
interesting.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah.
Tom, how about you?
Favorite musician?
Yeah.
Oh boy. So I never think about that, but probably, well, my favorite band would be the Eagles.
Yeah.
And within the Eagles, my favorite musician would have been Glenn Fry.
Yeah.
So,
I knew you would say
yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's
That's a good
funny because I
answer.
think about growing up. I should probably share like how we met. So I met you guys when I was like 15 or 16 years old. And
Mhm.
so I grew up just loving you guys so much, but you've been so instrumental in just our family's life. And it's so interesting because I remember when we would meet at the mall and you would have Dancing Queen, like, and like also Freddie Mercury like blasting. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh my gosh. I was like, she's the coolest person ever.
Yeah, Melissa's a classic rocker I'm
Oh
surprised you
no,
didn't say,
I did like disco too. I
yeah,
have
you
to
did.
say.
And I thought maybe you would say Tom Petty because I know how much you love Tom
Mhm.
Petty.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
What's
endless.
your favorite movie?
Okay, my favorite movie, A Good Man in Africa.
Mhm.
And it's not
Really?
a very
Yeah.
popular movie at all. So
Great
it just
cast.
great cast. So anybody in podcast world,
Yeah.
it was filmed in what, the 90s, 80s. It
Maybe
stars
a long
Sean
time ago.
Connery.
Oh, wow.
But
Sean Lithgow.
it's a very misfit kind of movie, and it is so well done. And if you're at all familiar with Africa, um, you would love it. You would get why I love it.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably the best. Louis Gossett Jr. Who else?
John
is it?
Lithgow.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
my gosh.
no, but it was
Yeah.
never a popular movie at all.
I want to watch it.
Yeah,
It's really good.
It's really good. Clever.
What
Yeah.
is your favorite movie?
Well, it was Top Gun until Top Gun Maverick came out.
Oh,
So,
I know.
yeah. So I mean, I think every guy wants to be that guy.
Oh my gosh, it was
Mhm.
such a good movie,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah. Just say something about Melissa that no one would ever
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
So as much of a handyman as I wasn't, though I am capable, she is.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter what breaks, she does fix the shock absorber on the pool cover.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool. So
I've got my dad in me.
she's
Oh,
got all of her
good.
dad in her. Yeah, she finds those serial numbers on those pieces of whatever it might be, and she looks it up and she gets a new one and she
It's
gets it.
fun.
She
That's
fixes
really
it.
fun.
So
Yeah.
Thank
anyway.
you. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
Jeff.
well,
good.
that's you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
and nobody would guess it.
That's so true. Okay, so I want to rewind a little bit. Before the champions and the trophies, there was a kid with a dream. So will you take us back to the beginning? How did you fall in love with golf?
Wow. Yeah, it started as a kid, shagging golf balls for my dad and then caddying. So, that would have been first grade. He'd
Yeah.
go to this field and hit golf balls, and I would go out in my baseball mitt and I'd catch them, and then he'd hit the bag and I'd return it all, and he'd do it again and over and over and over and over and over and over and over
Wow.
until I got so sick of it, then I wanted to play. And
Yeah.
so started playing in fifth grade. really, maybe a little bit earlier, but just once in a while. But 5th grade, we moved to Minnesota to a little small town. We played nearly every day in the summer, baseball and golf, and then basketball at night. And then went to college at University of Minnesota, and it's kind of there that I thought that I could be good enough to turn pro.
Wow.
So the professional dream began in college, and but that was just to be a pro. Just hey, I just want to get my PGA Tour card. The actual dream to be good at it probably came in the mid 80s, mid to late 80s, where I just really they kind of all started coming together, and
Yeah.
I felt like the top end was going to be pretty high.
That's pretty cool. Melissa, how did you and Tom meet?
Hmm.
And how did you both know each other were the one?
We met in 1983.
Four.
January of 1984. I just turned 21. A friend of ours, Kim Roberts, and her husband, Lauren, who's one of Tom's best friends, set us up on a blind date in Carmel, California. I was going to school at the time, and so he was playing on the PGA Tour.
Mm-hmm.
And how did we know each other? He came to visit me. First of all, he's the first Christian I ever dated.
Oh, I did not know
Yeah.
that. Wow.
Yeah. For my mom would say, "Why can't you ever date Christian boys?" I'm like, well,
They're no fun.
anyway, then he came to visit me, and we were sitting on the beach, and we had a really long conversation of just, important questions. He to me seemed like such an adult. I was in college. He had a credit card.
Mm-hmm.
I was just really like, wow, you're an adult. You have a credit card. I'm just a college student, but really nice long conversation, and we were both but it was difficult because I was still in school. He was traveling. But it worked out.
Yeah, it wasn't easy, but it did.
How did you know? Did you know right away?
Well, I go to the same story. After the first date we had, it was a blind date, as Melissa said. I called her up. Hey, I'm coming through San Luis Obispo. Can I stop and see you? And so I did, and we went to the beach that day. And she had on her little bikini, and I had on my swim shorts. And of course, it started out as I was in lust with her for sure. But by the end of that conversation, it was, like, forget about all that. This person is an amazing, amazing person, both inside and out, and the values that she had, everything that was important to her, the way she saw the world, was exactly in line with the way I did, so to me, it was like, okay, I walked away from that, I think that day, maybe not saying this is the one, but like this absolutely is somebody that I want to pursue.
Yeah, that's amazing. Did you ever think that you would ever be with a professional golf? Like,
No.
Yeah.
No.
Like, what is that? When you think about it, like back, especially, 10, 20, 30 years ago, like, did you even know what that was?
No, I did not. I'm like,
That's true.
so I think I said, oh, you play the same thing that Bob Hope. I remember Bob Hope playing.
Yeah.
Was it Bob Hope or was
Yeah.
it Johnny Carson? One
Bob
of them.
Hope.
Okay.
Bob Hope, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's the game they play. Oh, and to me, it was a stuffy old man's game,
Totally.
Yeah.
and full of polyester and hip huggers.
It's so true.
It is
That's true.
bright colors, plaid.
Yeah. All the pastels.
No, I was the perfect person. If you were looking for someone who wasn't interested in the sport, I was the perfect person.
Yeah. That's actually
I had no expectation. I did ask you though once why you don't birdie every hole.
You did.
That's funny.
And he said it's impossible. I'm like, no, it's not. Just hit it close, tap it in, you
Right.
birdie every hole.
It was like so logical
Yeah.
to you.
Right.
Do you still feel that way?
No, I know too much.
That's right.
Ignorance is bliss.
Well, yeah, ignorance, it can be a bliss and it could be frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she caddied for me early on too. And I remember specifically, hitting a beautiful drive on this hole with a pond in front of the green, and my ball was in a sand-filled divot from about 80 yards away, like the worst possible situation. And I was fretting over that. And she was like, "What's your problem? Just hit it. Just hit it. What's your problem? You're in the middle of the fairway. Just hit it."
Quit your whining.
Yeah. Well, look at my ball's in a sand-filled divot, and I've got to hit it over water. I mean, it'll so easy to hit it fat. And
That's funny.
oh, come on, quit your complaining. Just hit it.
I know.
Okay.
It's true.
Yeah.
And you know what? And she
I
was
feel
right.
bad though.
No, I did. I just hit it on the green. So it was good. It was
She's
all
been
good.
good for you though.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She's like gives you the she's the coach you
Yeah.
needed. I didn't, it's interesting because I've known you for so long, but I know you as like family. So in researching your career and finding out what you've done, I really didn't know a lot of it.
Mhm.
It's funny because like, you and Melissa are so humble and down to earth. And when we get together, we never talk about anything like this. And so, but I found a statistic and I want to know if you guys both know it, but there's a statistic that really put things into perspective for me. Only about 0.10% of men who play golf professionally will ever make it to the PGA Tour. And fewer than 5% of those players will ever win a major. Only 89 men have won multiple majors in history. When you hear that, do you think about how rare and special this journey really has been?
No, I don't. I didn't know that. So yeah, that it puts you in a pretty elite group,
Mhm.
and I think that's always was my goal. My goal was always to try to get into that elite group. I wanted to be recognized as being in that elite group of Ryder Cup players, major champions. Being ranked number one in the world was without question the for me the greatest thing that's happened in my career.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's what I appreciate more than anything. Just and I think and you mentioned it from the very beginning, that you don't do it alone. You don't even come close to doing it alone. And I don't think there's any way that I could have achieved that in the things in my career without Melissa, as the rock, of our family,
Yeah.
and the biggest fan for me, and the support that I needed, and giving me the confidence to get out and get after it, and
Yeah.
and be fearless. I mean, just you don't achieve that on your own.
That was actually one of my questions. If you were a young guy right now
Mhm.
and you were deciding to pursue golf, what is the importance of having a solid family?
Well, without question, one of the things that can help you more than anything is maintaining the right perspective. If you have the right perspective on the game and on life and on your priorities, then the golf doesn't become that all-consuming thing that you live and die with every shot and every score and every result. If your perspective is in the right way, you know, you kind of roll with it. You realize, hey, you're going to have your good days and bad days, because the more important things are off the golf course. And I think
Mhm.
that's so when
Mhm.
you talk about having a family and being married to the right person and having kids, having dear friends, being involved at home in your church, all those things, it without question helps you have the perspective
Yeah.
that which I think is needed to allow you to play your best. Because in order to play your best, you have to be relaxed enough to not let bad things rattle you.
Yeah.
You can't live and breathe and die with every mishap or every poor finish. So, um, without question, the family is a huge part of that.
I was researching and people were wondering. So Keegan Bradley was Ryder Cup captain and you were a Ryder Cup captain,
Mhm.
and both of you were at the top of the game when you were captains, but you both didn't decide to play. What does it mean to be chosen to be a Ryder Cup captain while you're also still playing and you're so good?
Mm-hmm. There's a cost to it,
Yeah.
because obviously playing is way more fun than captaining.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why. Why is that?
Oh, because you're in the middle of it all. You're the one out there between the ropes battling, and you're the one that's in control of what happens. As a captain, once you let the boys go off the first tee, and other than maybe having some words of encouragement or wisdom throughout the day, you really have no control, and they're going to play and do what they do. And I'd rather be that person who is in control of what happens.
Why did you choose not to play?
Well, because I was 46. Um, and it was a huge honor to be asked.
Yeah.
And there was no promise, no guarantee that I would make the team. Although I did lose in a playoff, and if I would have won the playoff, I would have made the team. So I came really close to making the team, which is why I, through that whole experience, uh, categorically encouraged Keegan Bradley to pick himself.
You did.
Oh, I did,
Oh,
and
interesting.
because I think he was easily one of the top 12 guys, and I felt back, and when I was a captain, that I was easily one of the top 12 guys. But you know, I finished just outside the top 12. I finished 13th, and I just didn't think I could pick myself.
It's interesting. You shared a story about Kevin Costner. We shared a
Oh,
story
yeah.
because I think it's so funny. I think
Yeah.
it was that you were picked Ryder Cup captain and you went to the Yankees.
Yeah.
Will you
Throw out
share
the
it?
first
Yeah,
pitch.
yeah. I never knew this story either. I
No.
think it's so funny.
Well, I think Melissa would, I guess she would say, yes, this has happened. Every so often when I was younger with the long blonde hair, people would say, hey, when you smile or look that certain smile, you look like that actor, Kevin Costner. And I would take it as a big compliment. Of course, thank you. I'll accept that. Thank you. And it happened, more than, a few times. So it wasn't like just a one-off type thing. And I always wondered, I wonder if Kevin Costner ever hears people say, you look like that golfer, Tom Lehman. Just kind of a whatever. And forget about it. But anyway, got to be Ryder Cup captain, went to Yankee Stadium, threw out the first pitch, and I threw it way over the catcher's head, just so everybody knows. I didn't throw it in the dirt, but I didn't hit the catcher either. Threw it to the backstop. And as I walked off the field towards the Yankee dugout, in the very first row in back of the dugout was Kevin Costner. And he stood up and he pointed at me and says, I don't look like you. I'm like, yes, he has heard it.
Yeah.
Oh,
He has heard that.
you're
Loved
like,
it.
finally.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
To this day, we're kind of like, what was he trying to?
No, I don't know.
What,
And if
what
he's listening to
message was
this
he?
podcast, don't
Well,
take it
again,
personal.
what
No,
message?
we're like,
was-
come on the podcast and
Yeah.
share what you thought.
Yeah.
Kevin Costner, come on the podcast.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you.
Mm.
Okay, you guys, the Ryder Cup was absolutely crazy this year. I want to know your thoughts about the chant and just all of it, because you guys were there, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. You
We
were
don't
there.
really agree on. I have a different perspective.
Okay, give it to me.
You go first.
No, yes.
All I'm going to say is when the players are in Europe, it's just as bad, if not worse.
The
So,
fans you're talking about.
I'm not quite sure. Well, I think that's what you're alluding to,
Yeah.
right? The fans. So I'm not quite sure what the problem is, simply put.
Because you've watched that firsthand.
Mm-hmm. I think it got super personal. But I did witness a team member of ours in Italy, and it got really personal. And that particular player didn't ever tell the crowd to be quiet.
European player.
The European player never told the crowd to be quiet when he was putting, whatever, the whole time. And this time, that player, if people were chanting and he's about to putt, the American players told the crowd to be quiet.
Oh.
So I'm just kind of thinking, it's what happened in Europe. So why are you so surprised? But it did get personal, and I feel bad for anybody who's innocent
Yeah.
that might have gotten their feelings hurt.
What
I
do
do
you
feel
think?
bad about that.
Well, I thought the crowd was over the top, but and I guess I get so locked into the competition that I don't hear a lot of stuff that's said. I mean, as a player, I never heard anything. I was so focused on what we were doing that you could yell in my face and I probably won't even hear you.
Yeah.
So I don't tend to hear as much, but it was unavoidable this year because when McIlroy would be over the putt and the crowd is quiet, somebody would yell out something really horrible.
Right.
And I thought that was way out of line.
It is out of line.
The chant,
Very
the
true.
F you, Rory.
That's
Right.
horrible.
That's-
That's horrible.
Yeah, that's awful. So I really didn't think there's any place. I don't care what side of the pond you're on. There's no place for that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But otherwise, have some tougher skin.
Yeah, because it is New York too.
Just it's
Yeah.
it's a partisan event. It's us
Mhm.
versus them.
Yeah.
So if you don't you can't get your feelings hurt. You just got to be toughen up and play.
What do you think right now about the Live Tour?
Hmm.
I know. And Melissa, what are your thoughts too?
I'm kind of it's all lost on me because I just remember in the 90s, Greg Norman wanting to shift an elite tour. Again, I'm not part of policy but he was part of policy and he always thought that was unfair, even though he was he would have been on the elite tour. He always kind of defended the underdog or whatever, people not as fortunate in golf so that they can have the opportunity like
Yeah,
we did.
like we did. Yeah.
But that's all. I really I don't dislike anybody. I think that kind of money that they're offering these players, I'm not saying that we wouldn't have or I would have said, Tom, take the money. I mean, it's life changing. To be honest, I don't know what we would have.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we were never tempted to do that,
Yeah,
actually.
interesting. Because
Yeah.
it is interesting to think, what would you have done? Because also, I think the other thing that's interesting is I heard Bubba Watson say it's the idea of owning his own team or owning part of the franchise. I think like that was enticing to people. But I personally, like, I grew up with my dad, with my family listening to golf, and on the weekends, just it was just their voices are so calm. And then one day I was just like flipping through TV on a Saturday or Sunday, and Live Tour came on. I was like, what is this? So it's definitely completely different than what I think, I guess, I don't know, what's nostalgic, you know?
Mhm. Yeah.
So what do you think about
Yeah.
the Live Tour?
Well, it's not a very good product. You know, really, maybe in person, I heard it's not so bad, but on TV, it's awful.
Yeah.
But it's unfortunately, the PGA Tour was always about things in addition to money. Of course, the money has gotten very big on the PGA Tour, has been big for quite a while, it's getting huge now. But there's also tradition, and there was also history and legacy and giving back to the community through the charitable stuff that,
Yeah.
that the PGA Tour and the tournaments did, and still do to some point, and then also the money. So it was a combination of things, but at the end of the day, it was the history of the game and the traditions of the game, and the pride you had in being a part of something that Arnold Palmer and Ben Hogan and Sam Snead and Byron Nelson, that they were all a part of, was a big deal. And the Live Tour has nothing but money. So I am so set against everything it stands for. Completely set against it. And I understand why some of the guys took it. Some of the guys took the money because they're at the end of their careers. They're a little bit on the back end of it all, or whatever it might be. But I have a lot of disappointment over the guys who went out, who were on top, who not only went out just to take the money, but kind of flapped their gums as they went and badmouth the tour. And I just really sits wrong with me.
That makes complete sense. Watching you in golf, and then just what, even just people who talk about you guys are just like Tom Lehman, Melissa Lehman are the nicest, kindest humans.
Well,
It's-
Melissa is.
Well,
Yeah, Melissa
no,
is.
but one thing he is loyal.
Yeah.
And to leave the tour would have been disloyal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
True.
Okay, so I want to talk about Payne Stewart because I know he was such a dear friend of yours, and you hit the award for Payne Stewart. And I want to know if there's any stories that you haven't shared that just you'd want to share about Payne, and just I think people are so interested still in knowing about him, and just he was such an incredible, charismatic character on the golf course. But same with Melissa, I'd love to hear if you have any stories about him.
Well, I tell you this, he was unbelievably committed to his wife. And I'm sure people maybe would assume that, maybe they wouldn't. I don't know. I mean, he was a star, but she would go out there on the putting green with him, and she would set up the golf balls in a circle, and he would putt all the way around the circle, and working on these putting drills. And then when she would set him back up again, and he'd do it again. I mean, she would be out there working with him on his putting, for hours and hours, and whatever else it took. And he was just completely devoted to her. And, which is one of the things that I always respected about him, is as crazy as he could be. And, he was a jokester, and he could be brash and could be arrogant. It could also be emotional and funny and melancholy at times. He was an emotional guy. And, so that the one side, the brash side, you would never ever think that he would, tell stories about his dad in front of all of us and start crying, but he would. So he had a very, very soft heart for people.
Tender heart.
Tender heart.
Melissa, what do you remember the most about Payne?
So the last time I saw Payne was Ryder Cup 99, and he was wearing, what were his pants?
Jalapenos.
Yeah, he was wearing like his jammy pants. And we had just won the Ryder Cup, so we were living it up. And Tom and Payne were trying to keep up with Tabitha. They were doing shots
Of tequila.
And she was owning both of you.
That's right. And to this day, I tease her about it. And
no, it was,
she doesn't like, but I can't help it.
That was just a fun experience. And also about that Ryder Cup, it ended on the 17th hole with Justin sinking that putt. I think that made us win, but he was in the group ahead playing with Colin Montgomery, and he could have quit and just say, hey, we won, whatever, and come join us celebrating. But he finished his round because he knew Colin wanted to post his
Yes,
for stats.
correct. Yes, exactly right. So Payne Stewart was a team guy. Okay, he didn't really care about the individual side of anything. He was a team guy, and so in that last match, which they went down the 18th hole, they were tied. No, I'm sorry, Payne. Yeah, they were tied. They were tied. But the match was meaningless. And Payne, they got to the green, and the people were running everywhere,
And they could hear us on 17.
And it's just, we were already done.
Okay, is that
Yeah,
what
we
it
were
was?
already done. And so we are all around the 18th green. They got on the green, and Payne had a putt for par, and Monty had a putt for birdie. And Payne just conceded the putt to him, gave him the match.
Wow.
Because it didn't matter. We had won. And it didn't matter to him that he lost. It just kind of tells you, because Monty would never have done that. He would have made sure that he putted because he would have wanted that point for his record, his overall, the history of the Ryder Cup.
That's what
And it didn't matter to Payne. All that mattered was the team had won. Monty, you can have that putt. I don't care that I lost. It's time to go celebrate.
Wow. That's a cool story.
Yeah, no, very, very humble.
Yeah. Wow. That's really incredible.
The other thing, at Payne's funeral, I don't think any of us understood until his funeral how he really had a strong faith.
Oh, interesting.
And honestly, you might have, but most everybody there had never heard those kind of words come out of his mouth. But there was tape and testimony, and it was just sort of wow.
What was it like playing with Tiger Woods? And then what was it like being the captain to Tiger Woods?
Well, playing with him was like playing in a circus. There was just so many people, media, maybe 100 to 200 media people following him every single round of golf that he played, and taking pictures and recording every shot. In the crowd, half the fans at least were there watching him play. And so it was really chaotic, just tons of people moving around and running to get in so they could see. And it was crazy. And then of course you had to deal with him, the player, who had such strong body language and was such a tough competitor, such a great player, maybe the greatest of all time. So you had to really be prepared to play with him. You had to be ready for a battle.
How did you get ready for it?
I did. Like I remember the very first time we played in the first 2 rounds of the US Open when he was, I think, 20. He had just turned pro, and he was 20 years old, or maybe 21, I think 20. Okay. And he was the wonder boy. He won 3 US amateurs and won the NCAA tournament. And now he's going to go conquer the PGA Tour. And so we were paired together the first 2 rounds at the British Open at Congressional.
The British Open or the
the U.S. Open at Congressional, right? Thank you. And and it was an app. They had USGA officials with us walking just to control the media, because there was probably 300 or 400 of them. They would run to the next tee so they could get on the tee, so they could get somewhere where they could take a picture of him hitting, and everything he did. They were in the crowd obviously was there to see something amazing, and so I realized quickly that this is a whole different animal.
Yeah.
And he was young at the time. I beat him both days, which didn't happen all that often going forward. But I got him those 2 days. But I realized at that time that when you get paired with him, you have to be ready. You have to be ready, for that. And if there's anything that I could do, is I could kind of toughen up mentally and deal with it. So I ended up learning to enjoy playing with him because it was such a challenge.
Wow, interesting. Do you think anybody was even prepared for that?
Some people know. And a lot of, you can often tell, that, guys who normally shoot 68, 69, 70, they play the Tiger and they shoot 79. There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Okay. It doesn't happen by accident.
What do you, I noticed that when you're talking, I can tell a lot of it is like mental toughness.
Yeah.
And so the importance of that in golf, but in life for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you get out of your element. You get, in some kind of a mental state where, you're just, you see it all the time in sports, like a team, watch a team play, and how can this team who just beat the Rams last week, 42-0, lose to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 52-7. The same team, same bunch of guys, and they 1 week they're world beaters, and the next week they're not. Things happen in sports where you get just totally out of your rhythm. and out of your comfort zone for some reason. And that's what happens when you play with a guy like Tiger. You get way out of your comfort zone, and then your mind just goes 100 miles an hour the whole day, and you just shoot a terrible score.
What was it like being his captain?
Well, what do you say to Tiger?
I know that's
What do you say to Tiger?
what did you say to
Yeah.
Tiger?
Well, I had to constantly tell him to, hey, get out of your room and get down here. The team's having a meeting.
Really?
Oh, okay, I'll be right down. Actually, I ended up putting Corey Pavin on Tiger duty because Tiger just he just wanted to do his thing, and hey, there's things he had to take part in, and so he had to constantly go get him and bring him down, constantly go get him and bring him down to the team room. Because he had his way of doing things, right? He has a way of doing things, and he wanted to make sure that he did his thing the way he wanted to do it, during that tournament, because that's how he does it.
Yeah.
But when you're in a team setting, there's you have to kind of be a little more flexible, and he learned to be that way. But what do you say to a Tiger Woods when he's playing poorly? It's like, what advice am I going to give him? And I simply learned a big lesson, because I did come up, he was playing poorly, and what do you say to Tiger who's playing poorly? And I've always had this belief that at certain times, no matter who you are, you tend to forget who you really are. You tend to forget how good you might be, or how talented you are, or how much you're loved, or how much you're respected, or whatever the issue might be. You get a little bit out of sorts, and you start doubting a little bit. You start doubting, you forget that. And so to me, it was simply a matter of reminding him. And I remember saying to him, look, I don't know what your problem is, but you might be the best player who's ever played this game ever. In the history of this game, you might be the very best. So why don't you start acting like it?
That's really good.
Just reminded him who he is.
I feel like knowing Melissa, I feel like she's been that for you, just that voice of encouragement and belief in you. And so I think that is so important. I don't think that we talk about that enough as humans, that we just need people who love us and unconditionally love us and truly champion us, but also will say, hey, get out of it. This funk you're in, get out of. You're incredible. There's so much future ahead of you. And so I feel like that's incredibly awesome that you did that for him, just because, you could be told that Tiger Woods is told he's great all the time, but who knows if he believes that some days,
Well, I thought he believed it, but I think you tend to, sometimes there's times when you can doubt, even the best. There's sometimes when you can doubt, and just reminding him who you are.
If you were ever doubting about yourself, what did you do?
I always had, had a team of people around me. So a team sounds so official, but we had relationships, starting with Melissa. And she was really good at, hey, you know what, quit crying about, get over it, move on. I'd say one of her biggest gifts is just, hey, it didn't go the way you wanted it to, quit complaining and whatever, get over it and let's move forward. And so really good at kind of getting me refocused when I was upset about something, or maybe just on the other hand is like, look at you beat that guy every time you play with him, you'll have no problem tomorrow going and kicking their butt, so, but Jim Flick was that way. Jim Flick was the kind of person who would always tell me, like, what are you concerned about? Look at you, you're on this Ryder Cup team because you belong. You finished number 2 in the points. You beat everybody, except for whoever number 1 was. You beat them all, qualifying for this team. So of course you belong here. And look around you. Look at all these guys. You beat them every week.
That's
what are you thinking? What are you worried about? You belong with this group.
Okay, that leads me to, who's been the favorite person that you've had to play against?
To play against?
Yeah.
Well, I would say you have to be Tiger for sure. I mean, he's for 10 years, maybe a little bit longer, he was the best who ever have played the game. And I think the only person who came close was Ben Hogan. And that's not selling Jack Nicklaus short. But I just know this is that when you consider the percentage of victories as to the total number of tournaments he entered, Tiger would win, 35% of his starts or whatever the crazy number was, and the only person who even came close to that was Hogan. And, but I do think that Tiger was for those years the greatest of all time, which therefore to me makes him the greatest, person that you could possibly play with.
Who was your favorite person to play with?
Who I enjoyed the most?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that's, I enjoy playing with people who will talk. So I mean, I obviously enjoyed playing with all the greats, just because they're such great players. But like a guy like Fred Funk or a guy like Rocco Mediate, really super fun to play with because they like to talk. Steve Pate, one of my favorites. He likes to talk. He was enjoyable. What he had to say was interesting, and then he would just absolutely blow a gasket and get so upset with himself and slam his club and smash his bag and curse and stomp and swear. But then when you hit a good shot, hey Tom, great shot, that was good. What was it, 7-iron? Yeah, oh super, way to go. And then he'd carry on with slamming his bag and slamming the ground.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really enjoyable. I mean,
Mhm.
super enjoyable. Craig Stadler, the same way. I like those guys.
That's amazing. Okay, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Melissa, Thomas and Sean, two of your boys, they both play golf. And
Yes.
how is it watching them play golf versus watching Tom?
So different.
Okay, tell me.
So different. And I guess I had more sympathy for Tom's parents. I used to kind of feel like, why are they so uptight about everything Tom does? It's like they're high when he plays well, they're low if he plays bad. And I don't take it to that extreme because that's kind of annoying. But watching your husband hits it in the sand trap, hey, get it out. You put it in there, get it out. Your son puts it in there and it's like, honey, baby, I hope mommy would do it for you, but I can't. But I learned
really
though,
funny.
one thing,
That's
if I wanted to be with them, I started caddying for them.
yes.
That's great time spent.
That was actually going to be my next question.
yeah,
is I've seen you
caddying for my
caddy.
boys.
Yeah.
So much
You love
fun.
it?
Love it. Love it. So I can't give them, I don't read their putts. I don't tell them what club to hit. I don't tell them the wind. But I keep them loose. I know what to say.
Yeah.
And you don't get ruffled.
No.
Or rattled. I mean, you're the same always.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which is one of the great gifts that you have for a golfer. We haven't even talked
Yeah.
about that, but
Not high highs, not low.
just, at every round of golf, after the round, Melissa, you were always the same. Whether it was a win, whether it was a miscut, which there weren't very many of, but whether it was a great round, a bad round, it's like, didn't matter.
Yep. Sign
Always
your
the same.
card. This diaper needs to be
Yeah, there we
changed.
go.
Yeah. That's so
Let's
great.
Welcome
go.
back to
Let's
reality.
go. It's time for dinner. Let's go take the kids out.
It's interesting because I met the kid's dad at the golf retreat you had in
Mhm.
Arizona. But I had only known golf through you guys. So I didn't know what it was like to be with like a mini tour golf or struggling golfers. And
Mhm.
you don't even know that there's an entire world of like almost minor league
Mhm.
players or even lower than that. But when I think about Melissa, I think about just how much like she's such a rock, but she's also so nurturing. And so she's
Mhm.
like the best of both worlds. You have to feel so proud of the boys for following in his footsteps, but also what does it feel like because of the success you have and knowing the statistic of the boys then also pursuing this as their career?
It's tough.
Yeah.
Well, to put it how they, even with junior golf, they feel like that name, Lehman, is almost a target on their back.
I
Not
was-
a target
yeah.
on their back. That's not right. But
Expectations.
yeah.
That's interesting. I want to know more about that.
Well,
So,
that's they both feel that. And it's funny. Thomas is very quiet. Sean is very emotional, but they both have that feeling. Super different kids, super different way to approach golf, but they both struggle with that.
How does that make you feel?
Well, it's tough for them.
Mhm.
It's really tough for the kids. I remember at an early age going to the British Open, or maybe it was a Scottish Open. It was one of those weeks, and Thomas and I went out to play at some course. After my round, I played in the morning, so we went out to some other place and played in the afternoon. And we got on the first tee, and of course, I get up on the tee, and if there's 100 people in the pro shop or at the clubhouse, they all come out to watch. So now you got 100 people standing around to watch me tee off, which is fine with me. But then they're watching Thomas tee off, which is nerve-wracking for him. And they all are expecting to see this little kid who maybe is 12 years old just, rip it, 250 down the middle.
Yeah.
And even from an early age, Thomas had the ability to kind of deal with the expectations and do it well. And he invariably hit a good shot. So that's what I say about Thomas is his personality is wired more like me in terms of, he kind of can get really focused and toughen up and deal with the expectations and hit a good shot. Sean is way more emotional. And at times he does well, and at other times it crushes him. And, so
He's the sweetest.
it's not easy. It's just,
Yeah.
it's not easy. And they have more to deal with than I had to deal with.
Yeah. I bet I can't imagine, honestly, just because having a dad that has been so successful in that arena, that's so very, like
Mhm.
such a very small percentage
Yeah.
of people.
And you know what, I think the difficulty in some ways, because we look at athletes,
Yeah.
in say baseball or pick a sport, football, basketball, whatever it might be. These guys they play until they're maybe early 30s, maybe mid 30s. And by mid 30s, they're aging out for sure. So most guys are done playing professional sports by the time they're 35 years old.
Yeah.
Okay. And, maybe they're just at that point, their kids are maybe, if they have kids, they're getting to be 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. And they become the coaches. They coach the little league teams, they coach the Pop Warner football teams. And
Yeah.
so they coach their kids. And I think the thing about golf that's always been difficult, for families, and why you don't really see it maybe as many sons of players being successful as you do with other sports is because the career of golfers lasts so much longer. So they're not home as much, they're not coaching as much, and even as much as you try to be there to coach, it's different than if you're there every day, 7 days a week, 24/7.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that makes total sense. And that's interesting. I've never even thought about that. Melissa, how did you manage having the kids, traveling, juggling it all? And because you did it so effortlessly.
She did. I gotta
Yes.
jump in.
Yes, please.
I mean, beyond remarkable.
Yes.
Thinking about
Yeah.
at one time 3 kids under 5, 2 car seats, a stroller probably, 1 kid in diapers if not 2,
Yeah.
traveling, after a tournament on her own from Detroit to Phoenix.
Mhm.
Okay, getting home at 11 o'clock at night, the kids are all sleeping, having to get everybody off the plane, having to get the junk off the plane, having to get the luggage. I mean, remarkable. I mean,
Yeah.
truly, truly remarkable. And so I think if anything I could say is Melissa's always been really, really good at enlisting the kindness of strangers.
Seriously.
So she'd come off the plane if I was waiting, or if I was, whatever it might be, and it was, it'd be some poor guy schlepping all the stuff, carrying a baby. She's got the other 2, and it's like, thank God for kind people.
Right. I know. I have the greatest memories of being on tour.
Mhm.
And I just saw Christine and Pat Bates on Sunday,
Mhm.
and we were like picking up right where we left off. Like we were just talking about going from tournament to tournament in our SUVs, and that we have the greatest memories. We're all babysitting each other's kids.
Yeah.
I would love for you to share what it was like and just how you managed it all.
I don't ever remember saying, "Oh, I hate my life. This is horrible." I don't ever remember that. It got dicey when I was by myself. I parked my car. I had the 3 kids, parked my car in the parking ramp at Sky Harbor, and I stayed an extra 2 weeks, and I did not remember where my car was. So I got into a taxi with all of our stuff, and I said, "You're just going to take me around until I find my car." And he was not happy with me. And I said, "You know what? I whatever God you worship is going to be really happy with you if you help me. I need your help right now." And okay, fine. And whatever. And I don't think it took me that long. I think I had the right terminal. I just didn't remember. But now you remember we have 4 kids. 3 of them were born before 9/11.
Right.
So before 9/11, traveling was easier, so much easier. I could take bottles of liquids or whatever. My dad could walk onto the airplane
Right.
with me
Yeah.
for pre-boarding and set the kids down and leave, or anybody could help me. And then I had Sean in 2003, game changer.
Yeah.
It was, but by then the kids were older and they could help me. But
Yeah, you're right about that.
but it's gratifying because my daughter now, who has 2, one on the way, she'll say, "Wow, how did you do it?"
Yeah.
And it's like, thank you for noticing.
I know, right?
Mhm.
And you're like, it happened.
Yeah.
Every mom waits for that moment for
Yeah.
the kids to be like,
Yeah.
how did you do this?
No, it's gratifying
Yeah.
for her to ask me that. I like it.
Well, and I know you didn't have a nanny. You would have like people come babysit and maybe come with, but you were such an active, hands-on mom. And so, and I think that is so rare.
I had my cousin
Yeah.
and I had your sister
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
for a while.
And then we would babysit in Arizona. Like I would babysit, obviously, like the kids were my
Mhm.
favorite ever. But I mean, you were just, you were so hands-on.
Yeah.
I remember my sister telling me stories about how you'd be like, Lindsay, you cannot hold Thomas. Like you're in New York. You're like, stop holding him, stop picking him up
Mhm.
because when you leave, I'm going to have to pick him up
Yep.
all the time.
Yep. Yep.
And so you really, but I think you did such a good job at instilling to the kids to really love the world too. I feel like you were such a champion for every place you went in the culture and just immersing yourself in it.
I would agree. I
Yeah.
would agree with that. Yeah. We always had fun wherever we were because I wanted the kids to know, where are you?
Yeah.
They'd get up and go. I mean,
Mhm.
they didn't sit around the
No.
hotel room.
What's your favorite tournament?
So the kids and I loved 4 tournaments.
Okay,
Let's
let's
see
hear.
if I remember correctly.
The
It was-
4 majors of golf.
It would start in January and we'd go to Hawaii.
Yep.
Okay. Then it would be Bay Hill, which is in Orlando. Then, and we would go to Universal Studios, maybe Disney World, one or the other or both. Then the third one was New York, Westchester, New York. We would take the train, go to the city, see a play.
Yep.
What was the last one?
Well, so it was, you're right. Hawaii. It wasn't Bay Hill. It was Hilton Head.
Okay.
And then it was Westchester. And then it was Disney.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
Disney was.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The Disney tournament.
Disney
Yeah,
Classic
that's
at the end of the
true.
year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So those are always the ones. Those are the ones. That was the
Mhm.
4 majors of the family. So, because there's always,
That's cute.
Yeah.
the most fun weeks.
Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah.
You have the cutest little granddaughters.
Mhm.
Is it so fun? Do you feel like you're getting to relive in a way having the kids being young?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're in that stage of life where everything, like you just go, psst, I'll tell you a secret, and whatever, you can have a sip of my Diet Coke or something.
Yeah.
And no, they're just so fun. And we just recently took them to a thing called Pumpkin Fest at the Fairmont, where you go on little rides or whatever, and I take them to the fair.
Yeah.
And they love rides. And I'm like, the good news is they love rides.
Yeah.
So we're taking them to Disneyland next week.
That's gonna be so much fun. You
Yeah.
guys at Thomas's wedding, when Margot started, I have the cutest video of her crying and you helping her, but you go, oh no. I have
Yeah.
you on video, like as the girls are walking down, you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's really cute video.
I do too.
And pictures of somebody
Yes.
crying.
Yeah.
I think that's really funny
think
to watch it in 20 years and go, see,
It's-
Margot, what a baby you were.
Oh my
I know.
gosh.
I think
she's
it's cute though.
She's so cute.
Yeah.
I can't believe how much they both remind me of Rachel, but then Margot
Mhm.
reminds me a little bit of Polly.
Yeah.
Oh, a lot.
A lot.
Absolutely.
A lot of Holly.
Isn't that
Yes.
interesting how that happened?
Yeah. Margot's spicy like Holly.
Yeah. And starting the podcast, my biggest goal was like, I really wanted people to feel like they belong and that, that all of us have lots of pain and highs, lows, setbacks, heartbreak. And so what have been your greatest setbacks, both personally and professionally?
Mm.
Well, I think hands down,
Yeah.
he and I losing Samuel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a rough one.
That was a setback.
Yeah. Do you mind opening up about
No.
that? Oh,
No,
thank you.
no, he was 20, I think I was 22 weeks along. And what wound up happening is his umbilical cord got twisted. So, but it really solidified in my mind sort of just the meaning of life and blah 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 and all that. And I'm not going to get into that, but to me in my head, there is just it's life is life.
Yeah.
And that was a real sad moment.
Mm-hmm.
Your mom and dad
Yeah.
helped us
Yeah.
out.
Your dad was really helpful in that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stillborn. He had to deliver a stillborn child.
No, I didn't have to.
Yeah.
I chose to.
Yeah.
I could have just
Oh, yeah.
done whatever,
Yeah.
but
You made that choice to
yes,
deliver him. Oh.
it was a dignified thing
Yeah.
for me to do for him.
Tell me if I'm correct on this, but because I babysat the kids,
Mm-hmm.
I remember that Tom was at the British Open, right? Is
Yep.
that correct?
That's right.
And that you waited to tell him until he came
Mhm.
home.
Yep.
Tell me about
Very
that.
good memory.
I mean, well, honestly, like it's one of the more pivotal moments in my life, watching you guys walk through that
Well,
because that was
yeah.
that was horrible,
Mhm.
truly heartbreaking. And then we're just trying to keep the kids. I would take them to the mall, do all these fun
Mhm.
things. But at the same time, you're just so heartbroken for your friends.
So were they.
Yeah.
My kids were really, really sad. And so I picked him up from the airport and he had just missed the cut at the British Open. So it was kind of like, okay, I've got something else to tell you. But and the kids lived through, they were old enough to live through that and really remember it. And then the gift of having
Oh
Sean,
yeah.
Yeah.
which I never said he was a mistake or he was an oops or whatever. He was always a blessing
Oh yeah.
and still is.
Yeah.
He is so
Yeah.
truly. So he was at the British Open and you were home with the
Mhm.
kids
I was
and
actually
pregnant.
here in
Okay.
San Diego. I just didn't feel him moving. So I flew home and um he said, "Yeah, there's no heartbeat." So I came back here to be with the kids until he came home.
And how long did you wait to tell
I-
him?
No, I told him right when he arrived.
Yeah. I just think it shows just like truly your strength that you were able to, wait till he came home to
Mhm.
have that moment
Yeah.
face to face.
Yeah.
Why did you make that decision?
To not tell him over the
Yeah.
phone. Yeah, it didn't feel right. Just I wanted him to not be burdened with that.
Mm.
Ignorance is bliss. That would have been nice to be able to not have that knowledge
Mm.
for a couple more days. And so that was an easy one. I didn't want him to know until he came home.
I think it just shows so much like
Yeah.
who you are. I have so much respect for
Thank
that.
you.
I think what a lot of people don't know is just what your body goes through after you give birth,
Mhm.
You go through all the same things. I think I told you that I have somebody coming on the podcast and she delivered a stillborn at 30 weeks and
Mm.
she was just saying like her milk came in and
Mhm.
all of her, all the postpartum things
Yep.
happen.
It is.
Yeah.
It's very strange. And knowing now, like at 22 weeks, if I'd been more conscious of it, I could have had that baby and it probably would have been just fine. It was a
Yeah.
little boy, Samuel. My heart goes out to your friend.
Yeah.
It's I would advise her to talk to other people that have been through it.
Yeah.
They know what to say. They know exactly how she feels. To me, I'm not a sharer really, but I would share with other people that had that experience.
It's interesting you say that to talk to other people who have experienced it because
Mhm.
people don't know what to say, huh?
Mm-mm.
When things are going on.
But somebody who's been through that knows exactly.
Right.
So a friend of mine, my college roommate, her niece went through the same thing, and she asked me if I would reach out to the niece, and I'm like, absolutely, because I know what to say.
Mhm.
And
I mean, look, it's hard to even say, like, looking back and thinking, what was like, did it draw you guys closer together? Did it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think we would say, I think consistently that the greatest gift that Samuel gave us was our marriage got better.
Mhm.
As we leaned on each other, we drew
Yeah.
closer together, and he gave us a gift that was, priceless.
Mhm. That's
You
true.
know, yeah, very true. And then there's Sean.
I
We wouldn't have Sean if we had Samuel. So to me, it's God is good. He's always good.
Mhm.
And through the pain and the hurt, we received a gift. And then later on we received another gift.
Yeah.
And so I think Melissa's really really good about. Well, you can tell she keeps things in great perspective.
Yes.
And she makes great choices. She's strong and she's independent and she's. I mean, going back to the blessing of being married to the right person. She has wisdom that's very uncommon, I think, and she makes the right decision almost always. So can really lean on her
Yeah.
for anything to give you good advice and give you wisdom.
Wow, that's really good. And the importance of that, I think, is especially for kids, look younger kids, and they're thinking about getting married. To be aligned in that is so important.
Mhm.
To know that you can truly trust that the person you're with is making great decisions.
Yeah.
I think That's huge.
Well, and you know what one of the great things about Charlie Kirk was he was reaching out to these kids who are lost to try to give them that hope and that message, of not just salvation, uh, but what is the grid by which you're going to make your decisions?
Yeah.
When you don't have a grid like that, if every decision is made just off the cuff and by the seat of your pants based upon how you feel that moment, you're going to end up in a lot of bad situations.
100%.
So when you have as a believer in Jesus, as a Christian, and you have the biblical truth in your life, that's the grid by which you make those choices. And so when you are married to somebody who is committed to that, you it's so easy to count on that person to consistently do the right thing, because that's what she's after.
Yeah.
And we're all human, but when you're committed to that belief system, and you really are serious about doing the right things in God's eyes, you tend to make good choices.
I love that. What role does faith play in your marriage and just in your life in general?
What's the bond? I mean, I think this goes all the way back to that day on the beach when we first met. Honestly, that was I think the foundation, of all of the things that we were so, aligned together with. It started with the belief, and because we had a belief in God, and kind of consider ourselves to be, followers of Jesus, Christians. So therefore, a lot of our important things that mattered to us were the same. And so I think, that's the glue that put us together in the first place. And I think it's the glue that holds us together today.
Yeah. Yes. And I feel like you guys have just, even all your kids, I feel like they have such a strong faith. And I know that was from being instilled from you guys.
Each in their own way.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. And each in their own time.
But I
Which is
think
fine.
faith
I
is
think
simple.
that's important
It is.
because
It is.
when you have little kids, you think you don't know. And then you have young adults and you're like, well,
Yeah.
But it's fun with little kids.
Yeah.
Like Melissa's, again, Margot, who's not even 3, will say, "Oh my God," because she hears other people say, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
And Melissa said, "Oh, when you say, 'Oh my God,' that makes God really sad. You got to say, 'I'm sorry, God.'" So she'll go, "Oh my God, sorry, God."
At the wedding, she was like, "Thank you, Jesus."
Yeah.
Like,
She did?
Yes. She was repeating stuff. It was
Yeah,
so,
she was.
yeah,
Oh,
it
yeah,
was so
yeah.
cute.
She was.
And then Holly was like trying not to crack up.
I know.
She was
I
so
know.
cute.
She's so naughty.
But yeah, I mean, you're right. It's that is so important, I think, because I think that you can have this dream or idea for your family and especially your kids, and then they are their own people.
They are.
So you have four adults, young adults. And what is the secret to that? To you guys are so close. They all love being with you. You guys are such a close family. And for people watching that really want that family unit, especially older, what is the greatest thing that you guys did, or a few great things that you did?
First of all, we're honest. We've always been really honest with the kids, and Rachel's kind of dealing with this now with her little ones. You're just super consistent. If you say it, then kind of in the way of punishment or whatever she's doing now, but just always be consistent. Try to be as consistent as you can.
Yeah.
And that way they can trust what you say.
That's good.
Yeah.
So good.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, we always, sometimes we wonder, okay, what did we do? We must have done something right, because our kids who are now adults, they all want to be around us.
Yes.
Like they still want to come and be around us, and if there's something going on, they want us for sure to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, okay, we did something right.
Well,
sure.
because we say that because we don't recall wanting to be around our parents. Like,
Not like that.
no,
If there's a party, they want us to be there.
I know.
Yeah.
It was so fun. It's so fun watching you all together because and they all love each other so much.
They
too.
do.
They truly enjoy each other.
They're proper siblings.
Yeah.
They have their odds
Totally.
at times, but they do enjoy being around as a family.
That would be weird if they didn't. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I think we gave them, look, they were lucky the way they grew up in many ways. But we showed them a really good time.
Yeah.
Did we not
Mhm.
show them a really
Yeah.
good time?
Yeah.
I mean, think of all the
Mhm.
places they got to
Yeah.
go. They've been overseas. They've been to different countries and all over this country, and most of the time having a ton of fun. But yet they had the box they had to live in. They had these
Yeah.
boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had to do their
They
schoolwork.
had
Yeah.
so they didn't get away with, and I mean, we were committed to this kids not being spoiled.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
true.
And
so
they are not.
Mhm.
so I think they
No.
had a really fun time with us, but we gave them rules and regs and boundaries, and we held them to it. And I think that's why they had fun with us. I
That's
think
what I mean by consistency.
yeah,
They
yeah.
Yeah.
they knew what we said was
And you,
the
and you were
way,
probably better at it than I was, for sure.
I heard
pretty
this
much.
man.
Pretty much. Okay, don't be so honest.
I heard this man, they asked this man who's been wildly successful, they asked him, what is your definition of success? And he said that all my kids would want to come home to me for the holidays.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow,
Yeah.
that's truly something to think about. And so I feel like that's such a goal, but you guys have that and it's really incredible. Your hearts are so big. You're so philanthropic. And can you tell me about a few charities that you guys have worked with that are truly like heart projects for you?
Well, we've both been involved with a specific charity now for 15 years,
hmm
20 maybe, 15.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, so Melissa's been involved with on the board of a nonprofit that serves special needs adults. Um, called Courtney's Place. So her heart's been there for a long time and consistently, and in being a part of the decision making, the leadership. And I've been involved with a group called Elevate Phoenix, which is inner city kids, at risk kids. But we've always been involved with so many other things too. Uh, Something that would, we were definitely seriously pro-life. So anything having to do with adoption over abortion, we got involved with that. The Changing Life Center for Women and Children, just mostly stuff that had real life-changing relational components to it, which were faith-based.
Yeah.
To me, I don't know how you can accomplish anything life-changing without it being a faith-based organization. So we've been focused almost nearly entirely on organizations that include that.
Wow, that's, Jimmy Walker's Sober Living, you're
Mhm.
there
Mhm.
talking to all these men and women who have gotten sober and just spending a Tuesday night or
Mhm.
Wednesday night, I can't
Mhm.
remember. But I feel like the younger generation and maybe a lot of our generation doesn't know the gravity of how good it feels to get outside of ourselves and to help others.
This world is not our permanent home. It's very temporary. So I think one of the things that I feel that I'm led to be just use my time here, just because I'm not going to spend my whole existence here, just to make a difference while I can. And otherwise, what's the meaning of being here? It's just like if you're just sit there and to have the coolest of everything, okay, then what's next?
Hmm.
But it's so gratifying to see helping somebody, like they have a choice that they have to make, and before they make a choice that's not right, to expose them to, okay, well, this is how you can make that work. um really love his Elevate Phoenix. It's amazing. Just the principles teaching these kids are like, wow, I didn't know that there was another world out there for me. Or why do I want an education? Why do I want to do good? uh that's more gratifying than, I don't know, having a diamond ring. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the Elevate model is that these kids who are being mentored, they go and they mentor little kids. So they learn from the adult mentors in their lives, which are teachers, basically. They go and teach little kids the same thing. But even beyond that, the program takes these kids from being labeled a victim, which they are. They're labeled a victim in today's society, to becoming those who are serving. And so they'll go out and they'll give and serve Christmas turkeys to
Aw.
needy people, or they'll serve up the Christmas toys to kids who don't have toys, or they'll so they go out and they serve, and they realize that, hey, I'm supposed to be the one being served because I'm the victim, but I guess maybe I'm not the victim, because it feels really good to serve other people.
That's great.
So it helps to kind of break that bondage, that chain
Yeah.
of victimhood
Yeah.
for these kids. And I think so on the one hand, for them, I think serving is a gift that God gives them to help learn that. But I do think it all comes down to you know um, why do we want to give back? Why do we care? Why do we care if these kids who are especially these adults have a better life? Why do we care if these kids on the streets get a college education and get a job? I mean, why do we care? And I think it's because God cares.
Yeah.
So simple as that.
Yeah. Wow. I love that. For anyone who's in a season of pain or a setback, what's your message to them about finding promise on the other side?
Well, I would first of all say it's not easy.
Hmm.
You can't ever deny somebody's pain. And so just say, hey, it'll go away. Don't worry, it'll get better. Well, that's kind of trite sounding, but
Mhm.
in the end of the day, that really is the truth. I think it's getting up and just every day putting one step in front of the other. And so I think we've all been through situations like that. Where
Mm-hmm.
There's also like, that people, that what pain you've had in your life, you see other people like, wow, they're really struggling. Like
Mhm.
that is and just, it gives you perspective and makes you realize, okay, so just, I had some plumbing issues this summer. Some people would love to have plumbing issues and not what they're dealing with. So if you see a struggle and not understand, okay, it's perspective.
Mhm.
Like, what's a bad day? For, are you having a bad day, or is that a really bad day that somebody else is experiencing?
Mhm.
And that's really humbling
Yeah.
to see something. Okay, so I guess I shouldn't complain about whatever. Just constantly checking yourself, having a perspective.
Yeah. I think that's great advice, though. It's interesting because I think perspective is so important.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it's interesting because there's such a tie in even about what you said about Tiger, just like speaking like positive words over other people and your own life. And I think that's so important, just the
Mhm.
words we speak over others and then over ourselves.
Mhm.
What would be your advice for somebody who wants to go make it in golf?
Yeah, boy, I don't know. I'm still on that last question.
Oh, yeah. Go.
No,
No, no, let's
I
stay.
can't get off that question. It's the pain that people feel.
No, let's stay
Um,
on it.
well,
Yeah.
just what's that?
Answer the.
Yeah, just the idea of I think about lonely people. Loneliness is such a okay, and you're lonely because maybe you feel inadequate or maybe you're not appreciated or you've lost somebody, but just you feel alone and you feel disconnected, and there's so much pain in that, and so um, I think the idea of how do you help somebody really learn that they're loved,
Hmm.
to me, so I keep on going back to my faith, and in one of the strongest encouragements of my faith to me is nature, creation. And I never forget. Her and I broke up at one point in time, and I was crushed.
Before we were married.
Before we were married, and I was so upset, and I was so feeling alone, and just I was so lonely, and this pain of being lonely was just so intense. And I was in Carmel, California, and I went down to the beach to watch the sunset, and the whole entire sky just went red and pink and yellow and orange. It's this blazing sunset over the Pacific Ocean, and in that minute, is that God was saying, "Look, I want you to know this is for you, because I want you to know how much I love you." Okay, and so to me, that made me feel like, hey, there's God loves me. Life is good. Life does matter. There's way more important things in this world, and but I'm invaluable to God. Okay, so it helped me to kind of maybe love myself better. So that's to me, if you can help people to understand that one simple thing that they are loved and cherished and nurtured and unconditionally cared for by the creator of the world. So that's a big deal. But to get back to now starting
Wait,
golf.
I want to say something that's interesting though. Is like it's interesting that the most painful moments in your life, you can pinpoint them and you can almost like feel what it felt like. And you can look back and think what it like the gratitude of not being there.
Mhm.
But if you've ever experienced true heartbreak, pain, betrayal, all that, you can never not have, I feel like you can never not have empathy for people going through that
Mhm.
exact place.
You absolutely
And maybe
have to
that's
have it.
why you experienced
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
So, like I said, somebody who's lost a baby, or
Yeah.
they know exactly what to say
Yeah.
and how that feels.
Yeah.
Okay, advice to a golfer.
Okay, advice to a
Yeah.
golfer. So I can repeat that question. I'm sorry for
Okay,
getting off
so
topic.
I think honestly, like there's so many people trying to be maybe a professional athlete, professional golfer. What is your advice just to truly, I wouldn't even know what it would take to be on the PGA Tour right now. I don't understand the level of talent even since Tiger. So what are your thoughts to somebody this is truly their dream?
Well, okay, you just said if it's truly their dream, if
Mhm.
it's truly their passion, then they've got a chance. Okay, for starters, because if you're doing it for any other reason other than because it's your dream and your passion, it's not going to work. Um, you have to love it so intensely, because if you don't love it like that, there's no way you're going to work hard enough to get better than the guys who do love it. All right, so the whole thing about loving something that you're doing and just it being your passion is tied directly to what you're willing to do to achieve it. Are you willing to work, and commit completely to it and work as hard as you possibly can and do whatever it takes? So you nailed it. That's the starting point. How
Isn't the
passionate are you?
starting point though talent? To
Well,
have,
not because no,
to be
because
gifted?
there's talent helps for sure,
Because I could want it so much, but I'm not talented. So
but you never practice either.
yeah.
You could be good.
Mhm.
You could have been good.
What is the day in the life of when you were the best in the world?
Yeah.
What were you doing? Go from
Yeah.
morning to night.
Well, I'd say it was probably fairly consistent. I mean, it was a full day's work. I think I personally don't see kids today working anywhere near as hard as we did. But that's not the kids that I'm seeing are not the kids who are going to be on the tour,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So the kids who are going to make it on tour, they may be doing exactly what we did, but it was all day. And even when we first moved here to Arizona, we had one car, and Melissa would drop me off over at Scottsdale Community College, and I had a big shag bag of golf balls and my clubs, and you may drop me off at 9 o'clock in the morning,
Mhm.
and come and get me at 5 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I would be out there 8 hours hitting balls.
Yeah.
I don't, even my own kids, I don't think I've ever seen them hit balls for 8 hours.
Yeah. And did you do that almost every day?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much, because that's what I did. That was my job. That was the only thing in other than Melissa, that's really the only thing that I had going.
Yeah.
Well, we had a baby at the time. We
Yeah,
had Rachel.
and Rachel, but even as a really when I was very successful on the tour, it still was, and that's what I see on the guys on the tour now when I go out, is I see guys who are super serious about what they're doing. They're really committed to it. They work very hard, and it's a full-time job. It's a full-time job. So if you think you can go out and beat Scotty Scheffler by practicing 4 hours a day, you're wrong.
Yeah.
He's out there 9 hours a day.
Right.
So how are you going to get better in 4 hours? And he's already ahead of you, and he's working 9 hours.
Yeah.
There is no substitute for working hard.
There isn't.
Yeah.
And the second thing with that would be mental toughness. You mentioned that earlier as well. At some point, you just got to suck it up and do it.
Because I do think there's a difference between people who have talent and people who work hard, but then people who are like mentally and emotionally tough enough to be a champion.
Yeah.
And I think to have all three, you have a chance. Is my thought,
Well, if you have all three, you have a chance to be one of the best.
Yes.
But just to get on the tour, you have to be supremely gifted. So people who are starting out, you have to have what you said. You have to have the passion, you have to have the work ethic, and you have to be mentally tough.
Do you feel like that was something about you? Obviously, you had the talent, you had the work ethic, but do you feel like what set you apart was the fact that you were able to drown out the noise? And like you even said, even during the Ryder Cup, you didn't even notice people saying anything to you. You were so zoned in.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that was like a superpower of yours?
I think I think most people who are really good at anything do that. I think they do that. They get super into the moment. But I think there's probably a fourth thing too, and I think that's maybe some of what I kind of see at the Ryder Cups, and maybe some of the, like, you have to be uber competitive,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I do believe, and it's like, because I look at myself in the mirror and I know who I am and what I can be. You know, I can be a complete jerk, you know, because I'm so competitive.
Like a ruthless
And
competitor.
I think Melissa would tell you, yeah, there's times when you're just, you know, you can be, because there is this element of being really great at something that's almost a little, you know, on the selfish side. You have to, because you have to be that locked into what you're doing. All right. And which is why I say the perspective part is so important with this whole crazy game and life that we've led. Because it'd be easy to get overboard on that side, that jerk side, because you're so intensely competitive and you want it so bad, and then it becomes everything. So having people around you to hold you accountable, having a faith to give you perspective is the most important thing, you know, when you have those things, you know. So because the PGA Tour, they roll out the red carpet. You've been there, you've seen it. It's like, if you're a star, it's like, you know, they give it to you in spades. Everything is for you. We're here to serve you.
Yeah. But you do need a belief in yourself, which is when
Yeah.
you turned a corner in
Yeah.
your own personal journey.
Yeah.
Is now all of a sudden you're like, okay, I could do this.
Yeah.
But you
True.
didn't always have that.
True. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So,
When did you notice that change, that switch?
so it would be after Rachel was born, I think, needing to make money to buy diapers, right?
Yeah.
Now, and one of his sponsors said, look, Tom, I think it's, you know, we'll give you more money, but I think it's time that you try to do this on your own.
Yeah.
And that year you finished in the top 5 for the Hogan Tour.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Right.
that's the basic story.
You didn't have your card on the PJ Tour, but then the following year you were number 1 and you got your
That's
card.
right. Correct.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
The drive of becoming a parent and providing for a family.
Yeah.
Right? Like that pressure. But I think Christine was just saying it. Her dad, you know, played on the senior tour, Doug Toole, and she was saying, gosh, I saw like guys growing up 10 to 15 years, they were playing golf way too long and lost families. And she's like, I've seen it all. And I think there's people who either they can handle the mental toughness or they can handle the pressure, and there's those who cannot. And so you kind of do have to have all of those.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, I do think belief in yourself is huge.
Well, that overcomes a lot.
Yeah.
So you may have less talent, but if you believe in yourself. So if you have all those things, if you have the passion and the hard work and you believe and you're competitive and have
There's
great
the answer.
perspective.
Yeah.
You know,
There it is.
That whole package, which is why Tiger Woods is so hard to beat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
very few guys have that whole package.
Yeah.
But he did.
Okay. Last question, you guys. This has been so fun. I've learned so much.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's so much.
You actually did a lot of,
Yeah.
looked it up and stuff.
Thank
You did a
you.
lot of research.
I know, you guys, we've never sat down and ever, I think about all the years I've known you. I don't know you in this, you know, I know you in the, what should I do with my kids? The mom way.
Right.
You know, when everything's said and done and people think of you, Melissa, and you, Tom, what would you like your legacy to be?
Holly asked me once on the way home from school, probably 3rd grade, what do you do all day? In that kind of voice. What do you do all day?
I can see her.
And so I said, nothing. I don't have a job. My only job is to be your mother. And when I meet God someday, I'm going to get an A+, not an F-. That's what I do all day. And so I guess to answer your question, a wife and a mother, and one who loves her family.
You're succeeding.
Yes.
Well, now grandma.
You're
now
succeeding
Gigi.
for sure.
Now
Yeah,
Gigi.
you know, you're an amazing person. I tell you that all the time. You truly are. You know, Melissa, she collects people.
Yeah.
She collects people, and people love her, and because she loves people. You know, and I think she when she goes when she goes there and she leaves here, heaven's gonna be a lot better.
Oh.
So, but I'm like her, this, I don't really need accolades.
Mhm.
I think all the what do you call it? All the internal stuff is what matters to me, and so I think the idea of a humble man who loved the Lord, who loved his family, who did the right thing. I mean, you can say it any way you want to, but just that would be it.
Mhm.
But also, you know what? Somebody who used his influence and his position that was given to him in a really positive way and made a difference.
And you are,
Mhm.
and you've done that.
Mhm.
Truly. Well, I love you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, great
Aaron,
job. Thank
very
you.
good questions.
Yeah, really,
I
really
knew
good.
you would though. I
Aw.
was telling Rachel and Holly what we were doing, and I'm
Yeah.
like, she always has good questions.
Oh,
I knew you
Melissa,
would.
I love you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, because you were kind of telling me like different things you're going to do with this podcast and where you're taking it, and it's like you got to have good questions,
I just am so
insightful.
thank you. I mean, honestly, it's been so much fun learning about you guys more just because like I said, I only know you from this one place of very like personal. And so it
Mhm.
was so fun learning about your career, but also it was just like it's been so incredible doing this just because I think when COVID happened, people felt really alone. And
Mhm.
I noticed it and just even when I was working in corporate America and everywhere I went, people were like, they felt a lack of belonging.
Mhm.
And so I was like, gosh, I would love to do this. But then when you see where AI is rolling out, then you're like, oh my gosh, the importance of people's stories and people bonding together. And I feel
Mhm.
like this hopefully grows as a community. Just, I want people to know that they're not alone in pain or that they're
Mhm.
not alone in general.
It's important.
Yeah.
It's very important, and I think just to know how to reach
Yeah.
certain
Yeah.
people,
But
and
they might be alone, but they don't have to be alone.
That's right. Yeah.
And sometimes,
you're very good at that.
Oh,
You do have a
thanks.
gift of reaching out to people, and you know how to hit where people are at.
I think like you, I just love, especially women, I just have such a heart for my other like women, like my girlfriends,
Yeah.
and women in need in general. Just,
Mhm.
I think it's, especially when you're a mom and all that, a stay-at-home mom or even a working mom, it can be so isolating and hard at
Yeah.
times. And I think we need each other. So,
Yeah, we need Landon's. Yeah,
Lance,
you
yeah,
understand.
no, you guys, I love you so much.
Well,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
you're
you,
welcome.
thank
you're welcome.
you.
And
Okay.
thank you for so professional, truly.
Really?
Yeah,
Thanks.
very.
Thank you for spending time with us today. The heart of the podcast is to highlight incredible stories of hope and the gift of giving back. I'm truly loving learning about each guest nonprofit and the impact they're making. If you'd like to learn more or get involved, you can find links to every charity mentioned on my YouTube and my Instagram under each episode. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.